Surprisingly, don't you know? The most important thing in growing vegetables in a home garden is making soil, introducing the basics. After a long summer, it seems that autumn has finally arrived, and the temperature has dropped sharply, making us feel that winter has already arrived. The new infectious disease is of course, but I want to be careful not to get sick with a remarkable temperature change. Autumn is the season when crops are easy to grow, as it is said to be fruitful autumn. With the weather getting cooler and more comfortable, many people may be thinking, I want to start growing plants soon. For familiar vegetables, spinach, Japanese mustard spinach, garlic, etc., are planted in October. There are many vegetables that are easy to grow even for beginners, so it can be said that it is the perfect season for growing vegetables. However, one thing beginners tend to forget about is soil preparation, as they are distracted by the essential vegetable cultivation. Some people may think, why don't you just buy it at a home center? But soil preparation is so important that it is said to be the most important part of growing vegetables. In order to grow and harvest delicious vegetables, it is necessary to start with a solid soil. Therefore, in this article, I will introduce the basics of soil preparation, such as what kind of fertilizer should I prepare, and how to cultivate the soil. I think. What kind of soil do vegetables need? Soil is so important for vegetables that it is said that cultivating vegetables starts with preparing the soil. What kind of soil is suitable for growing vegetables? The conditions will change depending on the type of vegetables that grow, but this time I would like to list some things that are easy for beginners to understand. First of all, it is good drainage. Well-drained soil refers to soil that allows water to pass through and dries easily. Most plants prefer well-drained soil. Also, if the drainage is poor, the air permeability is poor, and even if it grows, the roots may rot. Next, water should be good. Water retention refers to the ability to retain moisture. If the water retention is not good enough, the water will not spread enough and the plants will not grow well. It is important to have good air permeability while retaining moisture and to have both drainage and water retention. Next, fertilizer stickiness is mentioned. Fertilizer retention refers to the ability of a fertilizer to retain its components. Compost and leaf mulch have a high fertilizing capacity, and even if you water them, the fertilizing ingredients will not flow out of the soil. In order to fully utilize the effect of fertilizer, it is important to have good fertilizer retention. The last point is acidity, pH, is appropriate. Most vegetables prefer mild acidity. Alkaline or highly acidic soil impairs the absorption of nutrients, which can lead to stunted growth of vegetables. The acidity of the soil can be easily checked with an acidity meter, pH meter, so check it in advance. Dig up the soil. Now, let's actually prepare the soil based on the conditions explained earlier. First, check the acidity, pH, of the place. Japan has relatively a lot of rain, so the soil is often biased towards acidity. Most vegetables prefer slightly acidic soil with a pH of 6.0 to 6.5. If the acidity is too high, it will be difficult for vegetables to grow, so it is necessary to measure the pH of the soil and neutralize the acidity if the acidity is higher than the vegetables you want to grow. In that case, you will have to use lime. After checking the acidity, the soil must be dug up for the time being. Soil that hasn't been used at all or hasn't been plowed for a while can be quite hard. If you try to grow vegetables in such a hard soil, it will not grow well, and even if you can harvest it, the shape and taste will be bad, and the result will be very sad. To prevent this from happening, it is necessary to soften the hard soil. First, remove weeds, pebbles in the soil, and old roots. While digging, you may find worms and other insects, but remove them as well. Dig until the tip of the shovel is completely hidden in the soil. About 25 to 30 centimeters. The work of digging up is quite difficult, but it is a process that greatly affects the quality of the soil, so it is okay to take a break, so let's do it properly. After digging, the next step is to plow the soil. A shovel alone will do, but a hoe will make the soil particles even smaller. This softens the soil and makes it easier for plant roots to receive water, oxygen, and nutrients from the compost. Add fertilizer. Fertilizer is one of the essential items for soil preparation. In order to stably harvest vegetables that have grown large, it is necessary to prepare the soil with plenty of nutrients. Also, if you need to adjust the acidity, you have to sprinkle lime at the timing when you have finished plowing the soil. Although it depends on the type, it takes time for the lime to adjust the acidity after being mixed into the soil, so make sure to add lime about 2 weeks before planting. In vegetable cultivation, it is preferred to use compost as fertilizer. Compost is fermented organic matter such as fallen leaves, weeds, and animal droppings. Surprisingly, it does not provide nutrients directly to plants. Compost has the effect of making the soil soft and fluffy by mixing it with the soil before growing plants. In the soil mixed with compost, microorganisms increase and become active, and the microorganisms decompose organic matter, which softens the soil. When the soil becomes soft and fluffy, water retention and fertilizer retention improve, making it an ideal soil for vegetables. Compost can be purchased at home centers and mail order, so it is a good idea to choose the one that matches the vegetables you grow. After you've spread the compost, it's time to prepare the fertilizer. In home gardens, chemical fertilizers are often used, which contain a well-balanced blend of the 3 ingredients, nitrogen, phosphoric acid, and potassium, that are necessary for the growth of vegetables. You can also purchase this at home centers. After adding compost and fertilizer, use a hoe to mix the soil together. Soil preparation is now complete. Can I use humus? Leaf humus is soil made from the leaves and branches of broadleaf trees such as beech, zelkova, and sawtooth oak that have fallen to the ground and are decomposed by bacteria and earthworms. Leaf mulch is characterized by being softer than general soil and containing a lot of air. Outside of agriculture and gardening, it is sometimes used to keep insects. Leaf mulch is known as soil suitable for vegetable cultivation. Microorganisms contained in the mulch decompose organic matter, which improves soil drainage and fertilizer retention. In addition to compost and fertilizer, it is possible to grow vegetables effectively by using humus in this way. To use it, put it in the field like you would compost, and use a hoe to mix it with the soil. Finish by making ridges. Once the soil preparation has settled down, it's finally time to finish. Ridge refers to the part where the soil is raised, and it is the place where vegetables are actually grown. You can plant them in soil that has just been plowed, but if you want to grow vegetables effectively, it is absolutely essential if you want to grow vegetables effectively. It is an impossible task. First, the mixed soil is flattened, and a hoe is used to dig deep into the valleys of the mountains and valleys. When making ridges, it is common to make them long in the east-west direction, taking into consideration the amount of sunlight. Let's make it after confirming the direction of your field. After making the valley, flatten the area where the vegetables will be planted.